I've been contemplating whether or not to get rid of all my foreign clothes and replace them with better quality made in the US clothes, but then I realized that longevity is above all. Even though most of my clothes are not of the highest quality and not made here in the US, my top priority is to keep them as long as possible until they die, and when they do die, I'll replace them with made in the US. So after you bought the item, your top priority is longevity. But what are your priorities before you bought the item? When you first have the thought of buying something, you should immediately have two questions for yourself. Do I really need this, and where will it go? I think the second question, where will it go, is often overlooked with impulse buys. And it's something we often regret not thinking about after buying the item. You need to find a spot where the item will go, and if you can't, you have to make one. This keyboard I bought to make the music in my videos sound a little bit better, but I made the idiot mistake of not thinking about where this thing's going to go. And right now I've just been putting it here by where my computer goes, and it really just shouldn't go there. So eventually I'm gonna have to build like a shelf above here, and that's where it will live. But what's gonna happen is that I'm probably gonna procrastinate doing that for about 3 to 4 months, and that's just gonna sit here and be a pain until then. Do you really need it is probably the most important question to ask. I feel like a lot of the stuff that we get on purpose now, we won't be using a year from now. And that's probably a good question too. Will I be using this a year from now? Online shopping sites are designed for impulse buys and buying stuff that you don't really need. I would get rid of those sites entirely, and especially off your phone. There's a good chance when you're bored that you'll go on your phone on Amazon because it's designed to make you convince yourself that you need things that you really don't. And if you really think that you need Amazon, just put it on your computer. And if you don't have a computer, then don't use it at all. And if you need to buy something, just go to the store and buy it. Going to the store makes it harder for impulse buys because you have to think about, I'm gonna have to go there, I'm gonna have to drive there. And if you are gonna go to the store, bring a list and make a list. No matter how much they tempt you, and they will, don't buy anything off the list. It's almost impossible to have an impulse buy when you have to drive there and you have a very strict list of what you're gonna buy. Mom, how many times have you gone to the grocery store and bought things that are not on the list?
All the time.
After you've bought the item and after the return window, date and customize the item. Dating each item will help you think about longevity. Customizing each item will help you feel a connection with that item, which also brings it back to longevity, as everything with an item should go back to longevity because longevity is the most important. It all stems back to longevity. I started labeling things because I actually saw it in a Van Neistat video, but then I realized that I do it because the dates help me not only remember when I got them, obviously, but keep them for longer amounts because it sort of convinces me that this date needs to be as old as possible. And the older the dates that I've written, the more I feel obliged to keep them longer, if that makes any sense. And the dates definitely help me keep a personal connection with all the items I've had.